Keep California cowgirls from vanishing.
Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Training our horses and miniature cows in ranch versatility. Penning Rusty and Susie, our bull and heifer. Roping Rusty with Morgan horse Semi. Training Eve to drive cart. Training Eve to work over her haunches with a motor cow simulator. Training Eve to lay down. Training Eve to harness, pull a log. Training Semi to harness, pull a log on turf. Jumping at liberty to music, making our Morgan horses our partners. Training Eve on a cow roping simulator. Training on our driveway, which is covered by sand, so we have a straight track. Stepping over poles, jumping over crossbar jumps. Training in our trail obstacles area. Semi on the big steps. Morgan horse Sadie doing obstacles rainlessly.
Semi drives a cart. Sadie pulls a log. Sadie learns to pull a cart. Miniature zebu heifer Susie learns to drive a cart. Bull Rusty learns to pull a harrow. We use a small ATV as a moving object, a mechanical cow simulator, to help train our horses to work over their haunches and follow the object.
I am the Urban Cowgirl trying to do some cow work training here with a mechanical cow that I made out of an ATV. We had to get a new battery, which was quite a chore, but we finally got it, installed it last night, let it charge overnight, and now we're introducing Shadrach Triton Semi, my most experienced cow horse, to it. If she ever did meet it, it was a long time ago, and she likes to investigate. You're seeing her investigate this thing. Now, this could be a predator to her, so especially when it moves. We're showing you how we desensitize her to this training tool, and then how we sensitize her to follow it. It's a moving object. Very patiently allow her to investigate. Okay, now walk around me. And then the next thing we're going to do, pull her away, if you would. Pull her farther away, in case she does get excited. That's it. See, she's walking around this predator. The predator's not moving. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to move it slightly. And Katie's going to have Semi follow it. A predator is not anywhere near as scary to a horse if they can follow what they might be perceiving as a predator. And then the next step is to have it follow her. And that's when we may have some issues, if we haven't already found some in the sequence that I just described. Come on. Now as Katie goes around me, I'm going to start going forward. See, all of a sudden this thing is moving. I'm going slowly. It does go faster now that we have a battery. Good. Well, now I actually can go backwards with this thing. So Katie should have, Ryan, you want to get the arm extension there to help her go backwards. I'm going to just make it go backwards and have her ask Semi to step backwards a few steps. To make it go backwards, I push the reverse button and then operate the handles. Once you start moving, I'm going to move. So you get her to go backwards first. Very slowly. You see now this predator is...
Whoa.
Yeah, is going after her, and that's what could be scary. Now I'm going to go right by her.
Whoa.
She's going to watch it. As you can see, she's got her eyes on it. Very good, Sam. Now I'm going to put it back in forward motion. Go by her a little bit faster. It's all right. I'm watching her body language. I'm seeing that she's standing with her feet square, not square, but not moving. I'm watching for the signs of relaxation, like maybe licking the lips, blinking of the eyes, head down. I'm seeing a little bit of head down and blinking of the eyes, not licking the lips yet. I'm going to go in reverse, go right by her again. Yeah, there you go. There's that yawning. She's not too concerned. I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to go forward and see if this thing can go. Whoops. This is also a test of our ground, which we cleaned up. When there's the slightest bit of incline, forward gear, always check that. See if I can go right by her here. Well, I think it's time. We'll turn off the camera and get in the saddle. We'll have somebody at the lead line as well. And then we'll have my cameraman set the camera up so that he can watch that short run that I just did. Somebody in the saddle, somebody at lead line, and ask Semi with a little bit of leg pressure, a little bit of neck reining, maybe some direct reining, to follow a moving object, which is a mechanical training device. Okay, what we did was just walked Semi back and forth. She certainly understands that she's to work over her haunches. We had Katie on lead line at first, and then we took the lead line off and just had a join up. That's a Monty Roberts term. In my opinion, a very powerful but simple-minded concept. Have somebody, even a biped, that the horse trusts, go along with them. And so we did that for a while. Now this is going to be our first attempt at having Semi walk with, maybe move over our haunches with our ATV. And I've instructed Katie, who's practiced a little bit on pushing the buttons, to move forward about 16 foot, to stop, depending upon how Semi's behaving, when she's calm and collect and focused, then back up about 16 foot. So you have to push the little red button and back up. Good. That was not exciting, but believe me, good, because it could have been very exciting and not focused at all, and we might not have been able to say that Semi is following a moving object, but she in fact did. Let's go backwards. I'm very lightly asking her, with my body weight, with neck reining, a little bit of tugging, open the door on my right foot, close the door on my left. Whoa. And that was real good. Again, not exciting, but well done, Semi. Now we're going to try it a little faster. Now to go faster, you're going to... Good. Notice that Semi's working over her haunches because she knows the drill when she's following a moving object. Let's stop for a minute and explain that again, that was a good run. Notice, and my cameraman will zoom in for you, that we have snow chains on the right rear tire of that ATV, and that's to give it a little bit more traction. It doesn't seem to interfere with forward motion or backward motion, but if the ground gets a little bit deeper, it gives you a little bit of traction. So just a suggestion to you if you want to try something like this. All right, let's go again. Good. And again. Very nice. Whoa. Very nice. You see, what else could she be doing if she weren't doing so well? She could be bucking. She could be dancing around. She could be throwing up her head. But notice that those things are not happening. She is biting her bit a little bit, which makes me think she's not quite sure about this potential predator. But it also makes me think that she has confidence in me and is willing to meet up with it and do what she's been trained to do. You know what? We went 16 foot. Let's go another 8 foot length or another one, depending upon how she's behaving. Here. Let's stop for a minute. Okay, back again. That was a perfect maneuver on Semi's part. Ooh. She worked over her haunches. She didn't leak in. I noticed that you were having a little bit of traction problem. So this is kind of the end of winter. So we're pretty lucky it's as hard as it is back here. As we go into spring and summer, I believe this ground will get much harder and we won't have those problems. And also notice that even though this looks flat, at the far end, we'll go to that end now, on our next run, it's a slight slope, and it's a slight slippery slope. So it interferes a bit. We're going to avoid that until the ground gets really hard. But let's go now 32 feet for 8 foot lengths. Good. Good, and she's just doing beautiful. She knows that that's her job, to follow this moving object. Whoa. She just worked over her haunches all by herself. And that's all for today. With Eve and the ATV. Now Eve has used the ATV as a roping cow simulator, so I don't expect to have to desensitize her a lot to it to follow it as a moving object. But we'll see, and you'll see, because we haven't rehearsed as usual. I just walked Eve up and down this east corridor, we call it. It's near a bank on a creek, so there are a lot of funny sounds over there, and Eve is kind of afraid of those things, so I'm going to always be cognizant of what's happening on the creek bank. Notice that I have spurs on. Not a real long shank, and certainly not sharp rowels, but for this kind of work, especially for a horse like Eve who doesn't quite know yet how to work over her haunches, I might just roll them ever so slightly up her belly, up her ribs. I might touch her shoulder, depending on what it is, what part of her body I'm trying to move. Now I'm going to ask her to take a few steps back and watch the ATV go forward. Wait a sec, wait till I go back. I'm looking over, and if I don't get the back, then I lift one hand. I try to be as light as possible. All right, and now Brianna is operating the ATV for the first time, so she's learning how it works too. Let's go, Brianna. We're just going to watch you. A horse. She's a little bit concerned because it moved out. Okay, stop, Brianna. Eve moved out, maybe because she thought she should be following it, but right now I'm going to try to make it clear to her that we're just watching it. And if she doesn't stop, you can see she's gaping, I'm going to do a one rein stop, which means sliding my hand down, trying to keep my body centered. Okay, there was some noise. You just saw it. There was some noise in the creek. Eve is very, very sensitive to those things. I don't see it. It could be a bobcat. It could be a deer. Can you show the creek? I'm asking my cameraman to pan this very rural, rough creek bank. And Eve definitely heard something just now, so that's probably going to be our biggest challenge today. Not the ATV, the mechanical cow simulator, because she's been around it a lot in her training, but the scary objects that she might hear or see on the creek bank. Okay, now I'm going to back off a little bit. Good. Now go another 8 foot. But if you see that Eve isn't standing still, then stop.
Okay.
There is going to be a point that she's going to be expected to follow the moving object, but that's going to be when I put my reins down and let it be the cue that she's to take over. And we're not anywhere near that now. Back. Whoa. Back. Whoa. Okay, go another 8 foot, unless she starts dancing around. Whoa. Better. Go a little farther. Better. Good. Now she's understanding. Now let's watch for signs of understanding and no stress. Is she blinking her eyes? Not yet. Is her head down? Not yet. Are her legs cocked? Probably not. But she's not dancing around. She's standing still, which to me is the first sign that she's understanding that her job right now is just to watch this thing. Now put it in reverse and slowly come back towards us. There, good, Eve. She's watching it. She's watching it. And if we have problems with traction, I've mentioned this before. Can you stop now? We do have snow chains, tire chains on the right rear. And if we have problems with traction, then the driver of the ATV is instructed to put a little bit more weight on that tire, and we'll probably, with this kind of footing, get out of the spin, which can happen because we're still in winter and still have some wet areas. Okay, we'll move out again. Repetition is the name of the game. Go ahead. It's all right. Whoop. Okay, good. I just asked with my left rein to ask her to whoa, and I used the word. Okay, go ahead. I'm sitting deep in the saddle, so she understands that she's not to go forward just because this thing is going forward. Okay, come on back. Little bit of traction problem. Okay, now what I want you to do, Brianna, is go about 3 lengths, and then where it gets wide there, make a U-turn and come towards us.
Okay.
So instead of going backwards, you're going to be heading in towards us, and I want to see how she behaves.
Okay.
Good, she's just standing nicely now. Give her a reward. You see, cows, we're trying to simulate cow movements. You know, they'll come out, they'll go back in, they'll swing over their haunches. Good, very good. We've got the idea with you.
Okay.
But right about there where you turned around, we can even see the tire tracks.
Okay.
You stop on the fence, I'm going to stop her, and then you back up when I ask you to, and I'll see if I can get her with the right cues and the right requests to work over her haunches.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Stop. Much too fast.
Okay.
She's going much too fast. She's not rating the moving object. Rating the moving object means when we move with it, I'm expecting her to provide the speed that it will take to mirror that object or to chase after it if we're roping. And she was going much too fast, so that's something I'm going to have to work with her on. I didn't have that trouble with Semi the other day, but I am with Eve. So I know it's a problem, and I'm not going to work on it right now, but what I am going to do right now is when you start moving, I'm going to see if I can get her, after I back 1 step, you start moving, I'm going to see if I can get her to work over her haunches.
Okay.
Just once or twice, okay?
All right.
1 hand up. Good. Whoop. Good, good. Back. Good. Good. wasn't a U-turn. That was a good over the haunches. Well, my goodness. A very, very short lesson. A not very exciting lesson, but at least we've pinpointed the prerequisite skills that we have to work on. And we've reminded Eve that this red mechanical thing is not a predator. And that's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl. This is Sadie, Eve's daughter. And it's a cold, overcast day, so she is being really go-y, and she usually isn't. But what we're going to do today is just introduce her to the ATV from the ground. Now I've got Sadie on the lead line with a 12-foot yacht rope lead line, a rope halter on. Brianna's on the ATV. It's a training device. We don't know what Sadie will say. So Brianna's just going to go a short distance. It's going to start moving towards her. Make a little noise. Sadie's okay on it so far. She should be coming into camera's view here in a moment. Okay, stop for a minute. Now, Sadie is blowing her nostrils. She's licking her lips. So far, good sign. We're going to let her investigate if she wants to. She's licking her lips. Her ears are back. Her eyeballs are a little bit stressed. But okay, so far so good. Now when you have something that could be a predator, it's much better to have the horse go follow this thing that could be a predator than to have this thing approach her, at least at first. So I'm going to back Sadie up a little bit. Brianna's going to take the ATV and go along the fence for 10 or 20 feet. Back. Being very careful that if Sadie gets away from me, I don't have a knot around my hand. This is an enclosed area. I'd just let go. Safety's always number one. Now, if Sadie is going to spook, let me point out that she'll spook away from what is scaring her. And therefore, I don't want to be in her flee path. So my thought is that if the ATV comes this way in front of her and she's afraid of it, my thought is she might push forward with her left shoulder or jump over there. So I feel like my best, safest place to be in this training situation is right here where I am with the tools that I have in my hand, including an arm extension. Okay, and Brianna will stop if there seems to be agitation that could be dangerous. Good girl, Sadie. Girl, Sadie. We're showing again that we'll go in reverse. Let's put a little more weight on it. Yeah, where the action. Did you put it in reverse? Good. We had a little bit of traction problem. It did rain last night, and I've mentioned in the past on this show, as a matter of fact, that we have a chain on the left rear tire, which helps us to get the grip that we need. But in some places when it's wet, especially if it's on an incline of any sort, we lose our traction. So we put the weight of our body on that side of the ATV. I'm showing you and telling you all this in case you decide to buy something as inexpensive as an ATV like this to have as a mechanical cow simulator. Now, here is the challenge for Sadie. I'm going to walk out and I'm going to have Brianna drive the ATV towards us. It's like if a dog approaches you on the trail and your horse runs away, the dog will be in charge. But if you can have a handle on moving your horse towards the dog will scamper away. So I'm going to give Sadie the opportunity to feel what it's like to have this mechanical cow simulator coming towards her. She's licking her lips. She's being pretty good. I keep watching for body language, and I say we're ready for this next step. So I'm going to move out in this direction, give Brianna room to come by, and this time I want Sadie to be in front and over a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, Brianna. I'm going to go on this side because if she's going to go, you're going to go backwards. Okay, wait a minute. Let me just show you that. If I am going to pull her, if I've got too much rope here, I'm not going to get that jerk that I need, right? So you go a little closer here, making sure I have no knots there. Okay, now we're going to walk this way and you're going to back up towards it. So she'll hear it but won't see it. Now she can hear it coming towards her. She maybe can see it out of her peripheral vision. We're going to let Brianna back it up right by her. That's good. That's good. That's really good, you know, because the next step on a sunny day, without all this noise we hope, we're going to put on a saddle. Sadie has never been asked to do this, but we're going to ask her, just like we did with Semi, just like we did with Eve, we're going to ask her to follow this slow-moving cow simulator over her haunches. We're going to go forward 8, 16, 24 feet, and then come backwards the same amount of distance. Sometimes we'll vary the pattern. Sometimes we'll come out, turn around, and go back on the fence. Sometimes we'll put it in reverse and back it up. The idea being that we do what a cow does and give our horses, in a training situation, the opportunity to use their body parts the way they need to use them in order to work a cow. So that's all for today. You can see that Sadie is behaving well, and we've shown you how to desensitize your horse, or a horse. Your horse may be different. Always keep in mind, every horse has their own horsenality. We've shown you how we desensitize Sadie to this rather potentially spooky cow simulator. That's all for today. Sonia Sokolow, the Urban Cowgirl, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.
Our cast of characters: Sadie and Eve, Semi, Rusty, and Susie. Heifer calf Sela. For more information, www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.